So, as we begin, I believe this is our 13th session now. We come
14.
14? Damn. Okay. I've
Like
got my.
recording. Yeah.
I'm considering I've posted every recording and I've only got 13 so far. I'm 12 so far. I'm pretty sure this is 13.
Nate's just gaslighting you.
Nate's just gaslighting me.
Mm,
We return to the Iron Hills of the Southern Khatanate Empire. After ridding the Kingswood north of Suno of their digestive issues, and freeing them from the acid-spitting chicken velociraptors, you guys received a pretty nice reward from seemingly a cousin of the king, a distant cousin, a man by the last name Caladran, apparently one of the branch names of the Caladrian family. There was a bit of a verbal altercation in this. However, things went past and you were given your reward of 5,000 gold pieces and 1 ring of protection. Could I get reminded real quick who ended up with that?
Jade has it, I
Jade
believe.
ended up with that. Okay. Just wanting to make sure I know where that ended up.
You're talking about the Ring of Protection, right?
Yes, the +1 ring of protection. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna say we shared the gold, but he took the ring, I believe.
Yes.
Jade, you better be careful. Last time we gave you a really nice item, someone took it and charmed you.
Mm-hmm.
I will say
I punched the shit out of you.
Nowhere near as nice. At least expense-wise. Regardless, after finishing your time in Suno and taking a rest, you guys head due north along the King's Road, up through Vaeth, where you again took a rest before entering into the Durnhill, with a very old map, a 13-year-old map from the saddlebags of Rikus. You guys have been following along the roads into the eastern section of the Iron Hills and have seemingly caught the trail of whatever this creature is. From your designs thus far and your investigations, it does seem to be a very large bipedal creature, likely leading you to believe it is some kind of giant and or similar monstrosity or being. So, we dip back into this as you guys are climbing out of this little valley cove with a cave at its end, where you guys are climbing out to get back onto the road and follow along these tracks. My questions for you are, 1, it is mid-afternoon at this point. So let me know when you guys intend to take your rest. And secondly, are you going to try and find, say, an inn nearby to lock up your horses and carriage and then strike out under these tracks, or are you just going to try to follow them as best you can beside the road?
I'd say follow them as best you can besides the road.
Yeah, I think we follow beside the road if we can.
How far away is the nearest inn?
Well, I think we'd have to go back to Durnhill, probably.
Well, right now, you guys are about a 3-hour journey from Durnhill. You're about 3 hours east.
Like 3 hours from it?
Yeah, you guys are probably somewhere in this area here. The black one, not the pink one. So you guys are probably in that region heading east. These tracks seem probably a day old. So if this creature traveled for a full day, it could be on the pretty far eastern end of the Iron Hills at this point, if it was traveling the whole time, especially considering its size.
How wide are its strides? Or how long?
Its strides, there's approximately 15 to 20 feet between each stride, from what you can tell. They do seem actually surprisingly soft. This creature seems surprisingly soft-footed for its size. However, rather than like footprints, where you can like distinguish toes and such, there are large, flat-footed shoes placed on this creature's feet. You don't know if they're shoes or boots or what style of footwear it is, but it is definitely not walking barefoot.
So
This creature is
given that
mobile. We probably want to keep on its trail.
What were we saying, Nate?
given that it's got you said 15 to 20 foot stride. If it was walking, that means it's likely around 35 to 40 feet tall. So we should be able to see it from a good distance. How big are the hills, though? Are we talking like the Flint Hills, or are we talking like New Zealand hills?
I would say an in-between. The hills can crest.
It's like minor Appalachian hills. Like you're in Missouri.
You're in Missouri. Like,
Those would be the Ozarks in Missouri.
Okay.
Those are the Ozarks, yeah. Regardless, there's consistent up and down. It's not constant, but it is consistent. Probably once or twice every mile, you're going to be hiking uphill for a quarter of a mile before cresting and then kind of flattening out or going back down. It's very hilly.
Hilly Billy.
Assuming
Well
it-
then, we.
So, Rikus,
onward.
would you just want to go ahead and roll me a d10 real quick?
Yeah, I can do that.
assuming it's looking for food, where do you think they got those cows?
There are plenty of wild cattle in these hills.
There's one in that tree.
So I rolled a 9.
Oh my.
Sorry.
You're
Mods,
overdoing it.
take away his
So-
soundboard access.
I'm considering.
No, please,
so,
no.
You know that out east there is very little. However, these tracks do seem to be heading like east by northeast, so they're slightly tilted up. If you wanted to, you could probably make the trek about that same 3 or 4 hours, a little bit farther north and out east, and there's a roadside inn called the Ironsides Rest that's up in that direction. You never stayed there. You weren't necessarily privy to it or going through that area during your service, but you know that there should be a tavern there.
That sounds good to me.
Wookie dokie. Sounds better than camping out in the hills, although Rikus is totally okay with doing that. He's done it many a times.
So first curiosity, so who is off-roading in this situation? Like, you probably have 1 or 2 people with your cart and carriage, but these tracks are well off the beaten path, sometimes straying a full mile or 2 off the road. So is someone following that trail, or are you guys merely trying to put the cart up, take what horses you can, and then get back on the trail, go off-roading?
We all have Rockies, right?
You do all have Rockies, yes.
I have 2.
What are Rockies?
I'd say whoever has the higher survival. Not that we probably need very high survival to follow these tracks, but
Rocky Talkies, aka Sending Stones.
Thank you.
That is what is meant by
It's
Rockies.
basically like an instant transfer sending stone that works like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, I only have advantage on certain things, so my survival's not great.
I have the +7.
Yeah,
I was
you
just saying-
take-
I only have a +3.
I wouldn't trust Linen.
So I think it would probably be best if Rikus follows the tracks, and knowing his mapping skills, he'd be able to know where he's at in relation to the road.
Yes.
You say, have you
Um,
been around the hills a bunch from like when you were in the war?
Yes.
Not a bunch, but he definitely was.
I've-
around the hills.
I've trekked through it a number of times, so it's like I'm not unfamiliar with the Iron Hills. So what I will do, Rikus will hitch his
Like
his
wagon
his trunk. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna call it the trunk because it's the back of baby's trunk. Anyways, I'm gonna hook the trunk to the back of the wagon, and baby and I will follow the tracks. And I'll just kind of be giving coordinate updates to people on the road. If anyone else wants to come with me, they can. I'd suggest one.
Yeah, we don't have the wagon, right? We parked that.
No, we have it until
You
we
guys have
get
the
to.
carriage with you guys. You have it
Okay.
until you rest somewhere and leave it there.
Okay, okay.
Well, if we're talking
Rakus,
about
Rakus, you either
I'll let you go for a sec.
Alright. Rakus, you either get to choose a frontliner or or healer.
I was going to say that probably shouldn't choose Sakir, and if you need somebody to double check the maps, from what it sounds like, both Wayne and I are adept at that, unless you would like to offer yourself, Lennon.
I mean, I can. I guess I am the most useless at navigation, so I guess I'm more better as backup.
Lennon, think of it this way. Think of all the random plants and herbs you can find not on the road.
I mean, this is
That's the
true.
point.
This is true. I mean, the extensive list for the Iron Hills in terms of herbology is like not extensive, but there are some. Let's say,
And I'll
some-
tell you what, Lennon. If these tracks move in the direction that I'm thinking of, there might be a grove nearby, which means plenty of things to collect and to play with in your experiments.
Why did you say like play? Why did you use the term play with?
I don't know. You do weird things with plants.
When have you seen me with a plant?
Sorry. Medicines.
You've seen me use
Think
medicine.
of all the medical things you can make.
Like opium.
He's just over
Might-
there massaging a flower very, very.
suspiciously.
I'm-
suspiciously.
I'm
What do you mean you've seen
Bro's
me
just
with
stroking a
plant?
Venus
It's like-
flytrap.
I'm extracting the fluid from it. What do you guys want from me? It's
Hey,
Just massaging the underside of the dandelion.
well, I'll tell you what. We get too far away from the rest of the party. I know other things that you can extract, so...
What did he mean by this?
Oh.
Sakir, what does your brother mean by this?
I pull out a syringe. Blood, obviously.
Is there any reason why you can't do that right here?
I don't know. I just, take the syringe and just, start to draw a vial of blood. It's like,
Oh,
I
that's
should
where
probably
you
use
get your. Oh, that's where you get your blood. I know Sakir's just had a blood barrel this entire time. I wasn't really sure where you got yours.
Which I've not been able
Did-
to use. I'm gonna have to do some studying on this blood tank. Something's wrong with it.
Have you still not looked inside of it?
I've looked inside of it. It's full of blood.
Yeah, we know it's blood, but is there anything in the blood?
That's what I intend to find out, actually.
Why
Yes.
would they? Why would somebody hide something in the blood?
I mean, we did take it from the Neztharoon, which were dismembering bodies, stealing lungs, etc., etc.
I feel like the only other thing you could find in there would be body parts. If they wanted something hidden, surely a safe would be better. Or even just hiding it under the floorboards.
I
If
mean,
you hid
I
it
don't
in
know,
all
you-
of this blood, it would get dirty, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean-
know. You mean, you know how much a liver can go for these days?
I don't actually.
Good.
I'm gonna see if there's
Good.
anything in it.
Actually, DM, would Linen know how much a liver goes for?
A liver goes for. Go ahead and roll me a medicine check. Jade,
Yep.
you're rummaging around the like full gallon bucket that was filled
I
with
think I'm gonna
blood.
set up inside of the cart. I'm gonna open it up in the cart, and I'm just gonna start
19.
running experiments on it. But first things first, I'm gonna dunk my hand in it and feel around.
Okay.
Dude, if you
Uh,
guys get pulled over by the highway patrol and I'm not there, they're gonna see just blood everywhere in the cars.
Oh, it's just blood. Don't
Does
worry.
the
I'll
Iron
stay.
Hills have a highway patrol?
They have
uh,
patrols, but not very many.
Listen, there's
So-
probably
So Lennon,
Hellway Patrol.
the probably average cost for a liver. Well, first of all, medicine is not extensively advanced. It is actually one of the sciences, especially in the Calabrian Empire, that is near the bottom of focus. General health is considered important. Medicine is considered pretty low on the totem pole. So in terms of the cost of one's liver, unless there is a way to preserve it and keep it cool and such and such, they're worth nothing, obviously. But in the very rare situation where someone dies and it is known that they need a liver, it can be worth. The only time you've ever heard of it was during your studies. There was a situation where a middle-aged man was about to be executed, and there was a about teenage or so younger guy, both humans. Blood type obviously isn't a thing at this point, like that's not known of, but a transfer was proposed, and it happened and it worked. However, the liver gave out within 3 years.
But how much did the liver go for?
The liver went for approximately 3,000 or 4,000 gold pieces, as the child was not necessarily distant, but he wasn't a direct member of a royal line, but he had a close enough connection that gold was provided to the family of the executed man.
it depends on the source and the recipient, but it really can just range wildly from a few copper to thousands of gold, depending.
You know, out of character comment, with Linen's medical knowledge and the two blood fiends over here, they could probably figure out blood types.
Hey, maybe my world figures out blood types later this campaign. Who knows?
If I get a critical success while I'm examining this blood, can I figure out what blood types are?
You can just say, this is a different viscosity of blood than usual.
This
It must
I'm gonna
blood,
type it.
Oh,
No.
negative!
You're just gonna become a blood sommelier. You can tell them apart by tasting them.
Honestly,
Maybe.
Linen becoming a blood sommelier
Would
because
be
of two blood hunters
crazy.
would be
Listen.
stupid crazy lore.
Linen is out of character, just behind the scenes. Linen is trying to figure out a way to let him take some of Secure's medicine because he hasn't tried it yet.
You've tried mine,
Yeah, I've tried yours, but it didn't do
but
anything.
mine's a mutagen,
Yeah.
so it's a concoction of things.
So, Jade, you were rummaging around this
Yeah.
blood well barrel. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Finds a gallbladder.
Advantage by any means, or just normal, straight up.
Normal in this case.
Would you look at that? It's a perfectly preserved chilled liver.
12 plus.
6.
I don't know what I roll.
So it's a
6.
Nice.
18.
18. I rolled well. Let's go. Finally.
Yo, you pull out a perfectly preserved.
So
piece of
remind me, Jade,
body.
You
is
pull out the
this
nose
still
through.
mostly full of blood? Yes.
It should be.
Okay. So you just stick your arm.
Oh, he's doing
does-
it now.
He
Bro,
pulls something out.
So
He doesn't
you
even
stick
know
your
what
hand-
the.
Your arm barely fits in the area where the cork used to be. And as you stick your arm in and you reach around with an 18, you continue reaching around and you do feel something that is somewhat solid. However, it feels almost like stuck to the bottom. And as you kind of move around, it seems somewhat spherical. As you pull, you end up actually taking your arm out, getting like a little dagger, going back in and kind of like popping it off the bottom of this barrel. And as you bring this up, there is an eyeball set at the base. And it's actually quite curious. You go back in and you reach back around and you find a second one. And you pry them both out. And as you're looking at the pair, they're almost perfectly preserved in this blood. There is almost no degradation. Along with that, they are bright yellow irises.
Huh.
Could I make an insight to see what species would these likely belong to, being bright yellow?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
I would say make me
Medicine, insight.
I would say make me a history.
Depending
you.
On,
You're
depending
very
on the
kind, because out of all three of those, history's the one I have a +6, the other ones are nothing. So
Lyndon, roll a medicine.
I mean, I could.
no, I'm back.
So
I'm back, guys.
This isn't a medicine check. This is like I've read about it and or seen it, so it's a part of
Oh.
my history or a history I have read.
Oh, I
Is
can.
kind of
Alright.
this idea.
I can.
My
I can roll
+6 got me
history.
a 9.
You
Okay.
You want me to roll history as well?
Lynnon's about to leave with Rikus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can roll really quick.
Yeah, we're hooking up the trailer and then
Oh
getting
boy.
out of here.
Okay, that's better than me. I
Neat
take it out. I'm like, it's
Right.
toe tabaxi.
These kind of yellow irises are very uncommon. There are really only a few races that have yellow eyes, and only 2, maybe 3 that even kind of fit where you guys were in Sargoth. Firstly, there is the orc. It's not very common, but there are some half-orcs who, when bred with humans or halflings or dwarves, whatever other race, orc eyes are generally gray and or like a bright green. And so when they mix with eye colors of the other races, sometimes it can come out as like a pure yellow. But orcs aren't exceptionally common in the Caladrian Empire. So it's a possibility, but not a high likelihood. And you know for a fact none of the victims of the Nastheroon were orcs. They were all humans or dwarves. There were no exceptions. Secondly, and probably the only other thing that really fits, and probably the most common option, would be an Azamar.
It probably belongs to an Azamar. You might want to put it back in the barrel. We probably could use those in the future.
Right.
I know my father used to value pure, pristine eyes like that quite highly.
We have a better place to put them.
Put it back in the blood barrel. It seemed to be doing fine in there.
Do you have a better place to put them?
I don't think so. Alright.
Did he eat it?
Did you just lick the eyeball?
He cleaned
Yeah,
that
gotta wash
shit
them off.
after-
Blood.
I mean, I guess it's fine because he's the only one drinking out of that barrel, anyways. By the way, when you finally clear out all the blood, that barrel could be quite useful. It chills itself. You could put like water, wine, and
Only after
Yeah.
it's been exceedingly thoroughly cleaned.
we have prestidigitation. Prestidigitation.
I'll be alright if there's a little blood in there. But I think I'm going to do some
Rest of us
investigation on the road. If we're taking the wagon.
Okay.
The whole time, Brycus, as he's finishing up hooking up the trunk, he's just shaking his head. Backwash. Fucking disgusting.
Good. That's really good.
nasty.
Exceedingly so.
Alright, so Jade, you're investigating the road. Lennon is going to join Rikus and Baby to follow the tracks as best you guys can. So I would like a at advantage survival check from Rikus since you have Linen's assistance, and Jade if you would like to roll investigation.
Is Linen on a horse?
No, he's riding behind you.
Oh, you're just on the you're on Baby with me?
On Baby
Okay.
with
Yeah.
You guys have 3 horses in total. 2 to pull the carriage, and Baby.
Okay.
And
Sounds good.
mine, and Esther.
That is fair, and Esther.
Yo, Linen's riding bitch with Rikus. Woo!
He doesn't care.
Alright. So
Okay,
you
let
get
me
those
roll
checks.
at advantage.
Tell me to roll anything? I'm sorry.
You said you were wanting to do something with the road, Jade?
On the road, in the wagon, investigating the barrel. I got sick from it last time, remember? So I want to figure out what's wrong with this.
What's wrong with the barrel? Well, you just found a pair of eyeballs in it, so I don't know how much.
Yeah. So, like, is there, like, a disease in some of
Okay,
the
go
blood?
ahead and
Is
roll
it
an
just the fact?
extra... Go ahead and roll another investigation check.
Come on. Hey, above 10 again, let's go. 17.
17.
Every time I roll above 10, I do good.
Oh,
Damn.
15. Hey, 15's
Yeah,
alright.
Linen's more of a detriment than anything.
Yeah, you know what?
Or
I don't usually have a backseat driver.
So,
Pivot.
we'll start with Jade since we were already there. As you are sticking your arm back in and dropping the eyes back in, you don't really know exactly what else to look for. You look down at your arm and realize, I probably shouldn't be sticking my arm in this blood because it's pretty nasty, but I've already done it like twice, so it don't matter. So reaching back around, you find this, like, thin trail. And you pull it out, and it's this... It looks almost emaciated as you continue pulling, almost like a flesh cord. You find... I would love you for me to roll a medicine check to see if you can actually figure out what body part this is.
It's an umbilical cord.
Oh God!
You reach farther and you find a dead fetus!
No,
Full time.
with how well this blood is preserving things, it's still alive.
You just
Alright,
have
medicine.
a baby in the blood barrel! Ah! Oh,
Hey,
that'd be
alliteration. Alright, normal medicine?
normal
Secure,
medicine.
you ready to be a
Oh,
father?
no.
16! Let's
Holy
go!
shit.
16.
A flat 16.
This is absolutely a small intestine. You've eaten multiple. No, but this is
I'm not a
small
cannibal,
intestine,
okay?
And
Yeah,
you
you've
know what
you've
the
eaten
small
sausage.
intestine stores. If this was put in
Yeah.
without being cleaned out in the first place, that's why you got sick off of this blood.
I got it. I figured it out, boys. I figured it
drank
out.
fecal matter blood.
Remember, viewer, always practice food safety, especially when acquiring ingredients from unknown sources.
Especially when you find a random blood barrel. Do not
If
drink
you find a
from
blood
it.
barrel. No, if you wish to consume said blood barrel, make sure to feel around inside of it for any fetuses, umbilical cords, large sphincters, eyeballs, and
Make sure to-
digestive tract.
Possible fecal matter. Yeah.
Make sure to
Possible
run it through. Make sure to run it through a strain so that any chunks your local Nestavune left in.
What's the cleric spell? It's like purify food and drink. There you go.
Yeah. Have
Would
your look
would
at
a blood
the
in the
one
water?
work for
food-
clarify food and drink?
I
You
don't
just
know.
You wouldn't get rid of the blood. It just
No,
get rid
but-
of all the impurities.
guarantee
No,
you.
I'm saying, could it purify it? Is it considered a food and drink by the standards of the spell?
It is considered a food and drink according to
I
the
think
one
you
who
need it.
needs it purified.
I mean,
I drink and eat it.
But depending on the DM, they might just pull a reverse Jesus and turn blood into water.
so if somebody could eat precious metals, could you use purify food and drink to purify the metals and get a really high purity metal? Is it in the eye of the beholder, or is it beholden to the god who decides what counts as food and drink?
DM, we need this question answered.
Just gone over here, just follower
Like
of
the
God,
purify
like
food and
purify
drink.
this metal.
I was about to say, it's like probably the only god that would let that fly is gone.
Can you imagine someone purifying and drinking the ground, just hand on the ground, the entire earth?
The earth is my lacy.
The most powerful, the most OP D&D spell, purify food and drink. Food and water.
Look, clearly my possessed cleric is a food, so I'm gonna purify him and remove the corruption.
Absolutely.
Die.
Dude,
I
do you
can see
imagine
it.
you're fighting a dragon and you're cursed, and the dragon casts purify food and drink because it's gonna eat you, and you're no longer cursed?
I'm just imagining you're the last member of the party alive. The black dragon just spitting bile and acid about its mouth, stab wounds all over, holes through its wings. As it lands down among its final prey, it just curls up, puts its front paws together.
Thank you,
Thank
Lord, for this
food.
meal.
It was a tough won battle. I have no respect for them. As I consume this, please purify. And it just reaches out, a single claw touches your nose, and your, like, terminal illness is cured as you are just devoured.
No. You're thinking of this wrong. A vomit and fecal matter shoot out of both ends as you purify the
No!
That'd be the
You cough up your lung cancer, like
Literally coughs up just like these deflated
Just like a
sacks.
just a fucking tumor. Just cough it up, and you're like, "Wow, I never knew I could breathe so good."
That'd be
Man,
the
my
weirdest way
sinus
for
is
a body
cleared
like-
out.
My sinus is finally cleared out!
20/20 vision. Let's go.
Oh my god, my allergies! I no longer have eaten.
Just gone. Alright, Thomas, after that
Yeah.
very humorous side tangent, but side tangent nonetheless, Thomas, as you and Lennon are following along these tracks, I mean, they're really not that hard to follow. In fact, they follow pretty well along the 1 mile away from the road mark. Almost as if this creature, with its extended height, is able to, and you're on the high side, you are looking downhill towards the road from here. It almost seems as though they were following along the road, not necessarily following someone, but wanting to follow along a path, but not be on the beaten path.
Okay, I will relay this to Secure, well, the party over there. But it pretty consistently is following about a mile out from the road. I can't remember how the Iron Hills. They're not super foresty, are they?
They are not, no. It is mostly
There's
plain.
like there are
sparse trees.
yeah, there are trees clustered here and there. Okay, so I can, from all the way up from where I'm at, I can probably look down this hill and see the small little tiny wagon from a mile away.
It is barely perceivable for you where you are. Like, you'll catch a glint of the sun off the metal of the cart every once in a while. It's pretty difficult to, like, actually see them from this distance out. But,
And the angle.
yeah. What's your passive insight?
17.
You are pretty certain with your knowledge of investigation and inciting general beasts and creatures that do not want to be found. This thing has no clue where it's going. So you would guess that it's probably just trying to follow along a beaten path, but far enough away where it's not easily noticeable. Because even from this mile out, if something 35, 40 feet tall was walking out there, you would be able to see it, but it would be pretty tough to see.
Okay.
And you could have a very hard time making out the actual size of the creature from this distance.
Okay. I am going to.
I don't know. I can see your mom pretty good at that distance.
I'm looking at my mom, Nate.
Don't ask questions you don't
Met
want
my
answers
mom.
to.
You know what she looks like. Why are you talking to my mom, Nate? She don't fit your profile. You like big brolic black dudes. Like, what's going on? What's going on, dude?
What's going on, man?
Listen, Sakir and I's mother is a very beautiful woman. Of course, you'll be able to see her. Her hair is very easy to spot in the darkness of the shadow.
Okay, we can move on from that.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to do as you follow along these tracks?
Yes, I will tell Sakir, given what Rikus is, the conclusion he's come to, he kind of calms over to the wagon. You all on the road should pick up pace. Lennon and I here are going to are going to go double time here for just a little bit. See if I can keep up with the tracks. And he's gonna, as we're following the tracks, Rikus is wanting to see, like, he'll probably be, I don't know, I can't remember the D&D rules on moving, on dashing with the horse.
You're able to move pretty quick.
Yeah, I know, but like, if he's doing that for like 30 minutes to an hour, I'm pretty sure that I can't remember how long the horse can dash for before it gets tired.
We'll say he can dash for 20 minutes, or gallop, we'll say, for 20 minutes, trot,
And then,
10,
yeah.
gallop 20 for 10. I'd say
Okay,
Baby is a very special horse. So Baby would be able to...
Baby is a very special horse. She's also old.
Yeah, Baby might not be as fast at its
As she
speed
used to be.
as she used to be, but she's still pretty quick.
I mean, she's a draft horse, so. Yeah, so we're going to do that, and Rikus is going to be paying attention to the tracks and the freshness of it, essentially. Kind of seeing if we can, like, if the dirt is still soft underneath it, or, you know, wet, or you know what I'm talking about. Trying to make the tracks look even fresher.
Yeah. As you continue to catch up, the tracks do not seem to get extensively fresher. They seem to be sticking around that one day until about an hour and a half later. As you approach, you actually know you're probably getting, the people on the road are probably getting pretty dang close to this Ironside Rest. And as you are cresting over this hill, you actually note there is an exceptionally large hill with like a sheer cliff face that drops off. And you know this to be probably about half mile, 3/4 off, because it is on the map. Like, it is a landmark. And this is, you know, a little under a mile away from the Ironside Rest. As you approach it and get up on the cliff to look down and see the cart approaching the inn, the tracks lead right up to it and seemingly stay behind hills from the tavern side, and then along this hill that crests off with this sheer cliff face, it almost looks like something big went prone and crawled up to the ledge so it could peer over.
I guess I forgot to ask. Does anybody know giant? In the case that it is one?
I have no idea. However, it's extremely uncommon for a giant to, one, travel like this, and two, peer down towards the living spaces of humans like this.
It's also
Giants also don't travel alone.
It's also weird how cold the ground is.
As he says that, you do note that the area like right above the ground is very cool. Like you wouldn't necessarily call it cold, but at this point we're in rise, so temperatures are probably like 60, in between the 50s and 60s during the peak of the day, which we're about right now at like 7 o'clock at this time. We're starting to cool back down, but even then, the ground is as if it were midnight.
Are frost giants like this? Or would they leave more ice around?
Do you think I can put 2 and 2 together for...
No. Rikus has
With
no
like the
clue on
coldness?
Rikus,
No, okay.
I mean, the closest thing he could think of would be a frost giant, but even then, it would be exceptionally colder than this.
Okay.
So, DM, you said the thing we're tracking went prone, looked over the edge. Are there any? Does it look like there's any other tracks heading in any other direction? Like if it got up or rolled somewhere?
It does seem to have gotten up, and it actually heads like straight south by southeast at this point. Go ahead and roll me another survival check. You guys can roll it together, or one gives the other advantage, whatever you wish.
You get advantage, I guess. Then.
Wow. You said survival?
Yes.
Pretty good. 18.
As you follow the tracks just a little bit down, at the edge of this cliff, you continue down away from this inn. And you find a very small clearing that seems to be like almost a bowl, about a quarter mile away. And there's this small clearing in the bowl in which the tracks seem to have stopped and like taken a knee, like one knee down. Lennon kind of points out something odd off to the side, as this area definitely looks fresher. You can tell. And there's a whole bunch of movement around here. And you're able to find tracks of a few other creatures. There are a few large set of footprints. And I'm talking large for a humanoid sense. Size 25 feet, kind of large. Big creatures. And there's 2 pairs of these stepping around. But most curiously, there is a set of horse hooves that never seem to have rested in one spot for an extended period of time. As if a horse was constantly moving and trotting around this small clearing.
Rikus, wait, is that kind of off in the distance, or we
You
travel
moved
towards
to
that?
it. It's not very far
Okay.
away.
Okay. Rikus wants to look for signs of battle or
Roll an
conflict.
investigation.
I will.
And with Lennon still there, you can roll at advantage.
Wow.
So does Leonard have
Yeah.
better investigation? I don't know.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Plus 3? Yeah, plus 3.
Yeah, Rikus turns to Lennon and kind of points out the hooves and the sporadic movement of it and the multiple sets of prints, and says, look more around the clearing. I think there may have been some form of a conflict here or something. Nat 20 for 26.
You find no signs of conflict. However, you do find sign that actually on one side of this clearing, as it scales back uphill, it seems that whatever this giant creature is, probably some form of giant, seems to have sat down on this tilt. And deeper footprints and hoofprints than the rest are placed right in front of him, almost as if these three other sets of footprints stood in front of him as he sat.
Got any ideas, Lennon?
Well, if the creature isn't here, and it at least interacted with three others, including a horse, maybe it went with them. If there's no battle, maybe it was a peaceful resolution.
As Lennon says this, and Rikus, you kind of peer around to see if the tracks show this to be true. The three smaller sets of tracks lead off in a similar but slightly different direction. They head due south by southwest, whereas this creature takes off continuing on a southeastern trail.
Aren't we southwest of it?
No, you guys are north of the trail.
Right, they're north of the trail, so us on the trail are south of them.
No, you guys are north of them right now.
Oh, we're north of them?
Yes, they are south of the inn.
Oh. Okay, I got those backwards.
Yeah.
I thought they were north and we were south.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there was the cliffside that overlooks the inn, and then after the cliffside where he lays down, the tracks move further south. And then that's where
Okay.
we're at right now.
Okay.
So
Well, I guess they went their separate ways. But maybe they're looking for something. We can't follow both tracks now, I guess.
DM,
Yes, sir.
with my nat 20 and seeing the tracks that take off in both directions, can I glean how fresh some of these hoof prints are? And
You would say these tracks probably occurred late last evening. Probably sometime in the night.
Do we call everybody up here and start following these? What is to the
what
south?
time is it, DM?
What time is it? It is just before 8. So at this point, the sun is
cresting.
as dusk has come.
What?
Before we lose sunlight completely, Rikus is going to climb in elevation a bit and kind of get a view. I'm assuming I can kind of see the prints a little bit, like of the giant thing that we're tracking, just like kind of disappear.
Very hazily.
Okay.
They actually seem to be significantly lighter footprints from here on, even though they're fresher.
He was carrying something.
I think it's
Maybe it's weapon.
Lennon, what were you going to say?
If you remember the map, is there anything to the southeast or the southwest that these things could be headed to?
Rikus is trying to remember his map, which is currently with
Rikus
Sakir and Wayne
has
and them, and-
no memory of almost anything of import in the southeastern section of the Iron Hills.
Well, yeah, that's because most of the conflict and stuff, or like most of the travels were like either this way or that way.
Lynn,
So,
will kind of message over the sending stone. Could you lot in the inn ask the innkeeper if there's anything to the southeast, the southwest, generally? Any notable features, landmarks, places? If
And then
Who was
Rikus
that to?
Rikus follows up. What?
I was saying, who was that to again?
We just say, was that to someone
was-
in particular, or you just
No, it's
asked?
just
We're just sending it to
over
the party.
sending it to the party over the sending stone.
And
Just
then
two others.
Rikus follows it up with just do a small talk and such for now. Lynn and I are on our way back. And we'll have more questions for the folks at the tavern.
Alright. So as this
Shit's getting weird out here.
as this trio enters into the Ironside Rest, there is a pair of fairly large buildings just off the beaten path. And from the inside, you hear the faint drum of music. These two different buildings, one of them very obviously is some form of, barn or it has a lot of horses in it, very obviously. It's a stables. So you kind of give your horses in the carriage to the stable boy, and from there you find a hill. A very large hill. And to say that this hill is large is a little bit of an understatement, but it scales up, and the doors to the Ironside Rest are inset into this hill, with drawings and markings right on the face of this massive hill. As you guys kind of open the door, it expands out in a massive way. There's 3 or 4 tiers going upstairs. There seems to be a tier or 2 below you as well. As you step in, and there's really not many people here right now. Most seem to be, you guessed it, travelers, as this is kind of a middle of nowhere inn. However, it does seem to be fairly large and well kept. As what appears to be a tavern wench, a dwarven woman, as she walks by. Hello, dear friends. What can we do for you?
How much for a room for the evening? No, room. What is your price for rooms for the evening?
Singles, doubles, groups?
Tell us all. We'll figure it out.
Singles are 4 gold pieces a night. Doubles are 7, and a dormitory, which has 4 beds, is 14.
Well, I'm sure we could get a dormitory, and somebody could either get their own room or sleep on the floor.
Alright, so a full dorm. And she kind of sets the food down on someone's table and then goes back to the book. Alright, so we have 1 dorm on the 3rd layer up above us. Gold?
Go ahead and hand over the 14 gold.
She'll take the 14 gold, wrap it up, and say, "This is just for board and room and board. This is not for any food or drinks, which sadly are a little bit pricey to get out here. However, we are here to serve." And she kind of points out, and there seems to be like 2 or 3 dwarven children behind the counter that are like running. One of them goes, "Tag, you're it!" And they run around the corner. One of them takes it way too fast and just hits the corner of the bar and just immediately starts crying. He comes over to his mother, and she's like, "It's okay, it's okay." She's like, "Will you be needing any food this evening?"
I didn't mean to.
What did
cut
you
off if
eat?
were saying anything.
She was asking if you wanted any food this evening.
No, I thought
You-
I thought Tahir was about to say something, and I was worried that I'd cut him off.
Sakir said, "I already ate," is what he said.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Eh, I'd certainly like
I
something to eat.
I saw.
What do you have?
We have a smattering of meats, some eggs. We have some freshly baked bread and some cookies, actually. Sadly, we have no milk, and will likely not have any for at least another week or two. So water is the best we can do, and maybe some ale.
We'll have some meat, bread, and ale.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
We'll send a random smattering out. How large is your party? I see 3 here. Do we have more attending?
2 more.
2 more? I would say, let's call it 10 gold pieces, and if you're unsatisfied, we can discuss later. It will be a smattering of meats, bread, cheese, and with some ale.
That is fine for me.
Alright. And she kind of calls over her shoulder, Vicious! Get me a full platter! And you see another dwarven kid, probably closer to like 16, upper teens, kind of peek his head out and say, "Alright, Ma, I'll get it going." Ducking his head back in, and you guys immediately hear meat hit some hot metal as food begins to get cooked in the back chamber. About 3 or 4 minutes later, after baby has been given to yet another dwarven child in the stables, we find...
Homegirl puts out.
What did you say?
Homegirl puts out.
God.
This is the 5th one, so we'll see how many more there are.
Fucking hell.
30
That's what happens when you live in a hole in the wall. Breed
So,
like hobbits.
Linen and Rykus. Hobbits are actually known for not over excessively breeding.
Only eating, obviously.
But
Can we not talk about the breeding habit, Bob?
oh my gosh, Linen and Rykus, you guys also now enter this place. The soft strum of music that you guys hear does seem to be played by a couple bards, traveling bards, who are just in the corner. Not more dwarven children, sadly.
There's a couple of
Young
A
couple-
dwarven bards.
A couple of Azamar with bright blue eyes,
Bright
Drinking
yellow
blood-
eyes.
bright yellow
Um,
eyes, drinking blood red wine.
So, as you guys enter in, the other 3 who were waiting for you seem to just be sat at a table. As of this time, you guys do have a key to a dorm, if you guys wish. It is by no means anything lavish. It is actually quite simple, but it is comfortable.
Rykus, upon walking in, he's gonna kind of kick the mud off his boots on the entry rug and walk up to the table, and he's just gonna grab the pitcher of ale that's in front of Leopold and just start downing it.
At least have the common courtesy to use a cup.
He's gonna turn to the dwarven woman who's seems to be in the head of the establishment, and he kind of waves the mug at her and says, "Ma'am, I'd like another."
Of course, honey. And she actually just sets a full pitcher on the table.
Perfect, thank you.
Do you use a cup?
Do I use the same cup? Yeah, I fill it back up and drink another one. While I'm drinking,
On the pitcher?
No,
No, he does not drink from the pitcher.
I'm still using the same the same like Leopold's cup, and I turned to Leopold.
I thought you said that you grabbed like a pitcher that I had.
Oh,
No, he grabs your cup that you were You had placed at your spot drinks.
Ah,
Also,
Well, then coming up from behind Rikus, secure on saying this, he's gonna reach while he's drinking and just tip the glass up into his face.
This ale splashes and kind of
Right.
gets on your what little bits of armor you have on, but there is a substantial amount that just drips onto this leather below you.
He's gonna be kind of like
Mind your manners.
arms up and look down and go. I'm thirsty. It's the altitude change, I guess. I mean, you know how difficult it is riding a horse through these hills. Wears a man out.
What are you talking about?
makes him do foolish things like steal my cup.
Here, take mine. He's gonna set his next to you. It doesn't take an investigation check to know that you can see the red spot where he had been drinking.
I appreciate the courtesy, but I think I will pass.
No, it's alright. Keep it.
Rikus just kind of looks at Lennon and like waves the cup at him. And he's like,
What?
Real quick.
What?
Like, do your thing.
What the? Lennon will
Press
take the cup.
ignition.
What do you do you want from me?
He's do
Lennon,
your
like,
cleaning thing.
Lennon was like halfway gonna take it. Oh, Oh, okay. Prestidigitation. It's like, what? Why?
And then I'm just gonna, as soon as he does, wait, do you?
Yeah, I do it, and then he.
Okay, and then immediately I'm just gonna hand
Oh.
I'm gonna hand the mug back to Leopold and say, no hard feelings.
Now you have 2 mugs.
I'll take the mug, place it in front of me, not quite drink from it just yet. Say, why, thank you.
What do you mean tired?
I'm just gonna be like, well, I'm sure Lennon's abilities to prestidig the cup doesn't compare to Yvonne's lavender that she puts in it. Anyways,
She doesn't
he sits
actually
down.
use lavender for the cups. It can occasionally get in and ruin the drink. She uses I don't know the precise name of it, but it's a cleaner that doesn't leave any scent or taste behind.
I wouldn't really recommend lavender for washing cups, anyways. It kind of leaves a bad aftertaste.
Precisely.
I agree.
She uses
Pleasant
lavender.
They're pleasant enough to taste.
Lennon, not secure. Rikus sits down as he's sitting down as all this is being talked about, and he's just kind of has his mouth open, and like you're talking about lavender, and he kind of like glances down and like looks in one of his little vials of mutagen and goes, "That's why it tastes funny," and then closes it, and he waves the tavern keeper back over.
Yes, hon, what can I do for you?
Well, gents, have you asked her any questions yet?
Ooh,
Not
questions.
particularly. Thought we'd wait
She has a
to.
rolling chair that she kind of pulls over.
She's like, "Ooh, tea."
So I did have one question to ask. You mentioned that you didn't have any milk. I would assume that's because of a lack of cows in the area as of late.
Yes, there's quite a few farmers out here in the northern Dern Hills. And there is one in particular who's been missing a few cows of late. He believes members of the rigid horde from the southeastern section have been coming up and stealing some of his cattle and such, but he hasn't seen much evidence to say that. But that is where I generally bought it from.
Has he seen giant footprints in the area?
I'm assuming not, as he has not mentioned anything.
Perhaps he didn't know how to look. Well, what he was looking for.
I'm gonna
Giant
hand over-
footprints.
I'm gonna slide over a piece of paper. Do you know his address? Or how to get to him?
Sorry.
I mean, he's about an hour north of here, but outside of that, I can't give you much. He owns most of the land directly north of here for the next hour.
Oh, speaking of directions, is the
We can talk to him if we need to.
speaking of directions, is there? We're sort of on a sight. We're sort of on a sightseeing of the Iron Hills. Oh, is there anything to the south, just southeast area that might be, nice to a nice view?
She's gonna look directly at Wayne and say, "That one doesn't listen very well, does he?"
What?
No.
I just
Oh.
mentioned members of the Rigid Horde often peruse through the southeastern section of the Dern Hills.
What?
The rigid horde is they're a tribe of giants, my friend.
Giant?
Huh?
Well, not giants. Goliaths. Let us be technical about this. There may be a giant or two among them, but I have not heard of such a thing for at least a few decades. Not since before the Githyanki War. Regardless, the last time...
Yeah, a lot of them hold up.
Yes. But the southeastern hills, all the way from there out to Yalen, sometimes even as far north as Tenure or the Dossian Mountains, you can find members of the Rigid Horde here or there. However, they are often having squabbles with the Scale from the Northern Khatanit Empire. So, one roving horde or the other, it doesn't matter which you come across, both are equally vicious and stupid.
I haven't had too many dealings with the rigid horde myself. Do you know if they typically travel on horseback?
No, I don't know that they travel on horseback. They generally value their feet. However, it would not be necessarily uncommon for a possible centaur to be among them, but it would be a rare occasion.
Well, besides the missing cows, anything else strange been happening of late?
Strange of late. I mean, outside of all surviving troops returning home from Dan a couple weeks ago, it took them a little bit longer than some others to return as they had to cross through the Grindalian Straits as well. But outside of them returning home, and many not returning home, the Khatanit Empire is in a grieving state right now and considering war with the Caladrians.
What are they grieving?
Well, they are grieving their loss in Dan and the loss of all their sons and daughters who died there. A titan rose up outside of the city of Dwinder along its coast. A titan, 400 feet tall, broke through the walls, killed thousands of the Dwindalian soldiers holding the city of the Obsidian Guard.
Oh.
Many of the Khatanit Hells Riders that were over there, very few survived. A grand priest of the Church of the Three Seas died.
Lots of lore that I didn't know.
That
I, the character, or
church.
not the character, I, the player, did not know this lore.
The one player that did not actively take part in half the slaughter.
In half of that game. Yeah, this is mentioning just shit that happened in my last campaign. All of them were there for this.
You seem to
I
know a
heard
lot
what?
about the. Is there a name for like? Has this continent kind of named, like collectively named the tragedy that happened over in Darren?
There's not been a collective naming of the tragedy yet. No, there is not. Members of the Khatanit Empire, the Battle of Dwinder, at least, has been called the Titan's Wrath. As when you see a 400-foot tall creature come in and break down your walls, and thousands upon thousands of what used to be slaves flood in, it's pretty difficult to not remember that as some kind of tragedy in terms of the Katanet and the Dwendalian side.
Oh shit, was that the robot titan that
No.
I gave the controls to Jack?
No.
Okay, this was the titan. Okay, this was...
The Titan
This was-
they're speaking of, I don't necessarily want to give that away yet, but it is an actual
Okay, that's fine.
Titan who did
It's an
this.
actual titan.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, you seem to know, ma'am. Which, by the way, I didn't get your name.
My name is Helga.
Yes. Good evening, Helga. You seem to know quite a bit about the tragedy over in Dairn that happened recently. Do you have ties over there?
We have had a few travelers return through this area on their way back to either the Zemnian coast or sometimes out to Yalen. More than not, we get our information from traveling people, but also some of my sons and my husband in particular will take turns going out to Gizlan or Durnhill, sometimes even
It's called
as far
Gizlan.
south as Suno, to purchase new things.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I was really wondering how you pronounce that,
It
but
is Gizlan.
Nice.
we're all adults here. Hold on. guys.
Sorry, we're all
Calm it down.
adults.
This is your last chance to make contact. Last chance.
I have always pronounced it Gizlan.
Okay. Canis.
Not as
On you.
K-I-Z-Z, obviously, but that is
Dude,
what it sounds
Aiden
like.
was
That's not
so... Dude, Aiden was so fast off the cuff. As soon as you said it, just
It is
bam.
pronounced
Oh, grow
Gizlan.
up. Come on, man.
Dude, he typed Jizland so fast into the chat.
Gizlan.
Oh my god.
Here for it.
Come on.
Somebody had to do it.
Uh,
I just made sure it was me who did it.
Now I want to visit just to see if it's a common joke in the city. Do they
I'm
know?
sure this is about.
Was that me or was that you guys? Aiden
Wow,
was
that jumping conversation.
definitely.
I think it
You-
cut out.
Either that or fill my headphones.
Yeah, Aiden, you're... Yeah, it cut out quite a bit.
That's because he unplugged his headset mic and his laptop
Yeah.
mic took over.
I don't know if it did. Either way, all I
Yes, it did.
said was Osawatomie cancels. I don't know if you got that or not.
Okay, we caught it now. Alright, do you have any other questions for Helga? Outside of the
Sorry,
interesting
I'm-
name of the city.
I just got very distracted, but...
Everyone gets distracted by jizz, I understand.
Is it a common problem in Gislin?
Who knows, you'll have to visit someday.
If a vampire were to cast purify food and drink,
No, let's get off that train. Let's get back to D&D and actually do something this section.
Sorry,
Hey,
he's
we've
gonna
done something.
continue...
We've had
He's
plenty
gonna
of
continue asking Helga...
not productive conversations.
He's gonna ask Helga, have there been any local mishaps as of late, or
Not as to my knowledge, no.
so you've been
but not
seeing
quite.
relative peace around your plot of land here?
I mean, outside of the fact that I'm not getting as many travelers as usual, however, that is like to change here in the near future, as the Rise Fest is occurring here soon.
Do you
Rise Fest?
The,
do you
the Festival of the,
The
Rise.
Rise.
that's yeah, we would all know what that is.
Hmm.
We spoke
It's-
about it
Um,
last session, actually, I'm pretty sure. Which is the festival upon the cresting of effectively spring.
Oh, okay. I do vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Groundhog Day, but for like the whole country.
Yeah, it's particularly a Caladrian and a variant thing. It's lightly practiced in the Khatanan Empire, but due to them being a primary road on the way from Jizland all the way down through the Iron Hills.
Why did you have to enunciate
You
it
put
that
the
much?
D.
Yeah.
You enunciated the D on that one. I can't.
It is an inn on a primary road from the north on your way down to the Claudrian Empire.
Okay.
People do like an excuse to party.
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
Do you typically see more travelers than what you have now?
Well, what I have now is approximately 3 rooms filled. Which obviously isn't a lot. But depending on the week and time and travel down to the Claudrian Empire, or down into Durnhill from Yalen, we could see anywhere from 30 to almost 100 patrons in here in a single evening. However, if war does end up breaking out between the Khatanate and the Caladrian empires, this place would likely be used as a barracks for as many Khatanate troops as can fit in here.
I'm sorry, now I'm distracted
Hello,
again.
right,
I'm trying to figure out why the Katanists would want to declare war on the Caladrian after their losses in...
Why would
The
they want-
Caladrian Empire, 2 of its primary southwestern port cities,
They took
are
the
refugee
refugees.
camps of the slaves from Dairn.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
all of the Dwendalian and Khatanate property from Dairn.
Oh, yeah. That
would
kind
they-
of puts 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Lyndon doesn't understand the politics. He'd ask, why would they want to do that?
No. So yeah, we just got our explanation.
You did
Yeah.
just get your explanation.
I'm not in character,
but not in character. But yes, effectively, in Dairn, the Khatanates and the Dwendalians, since Zach doesn't know much of the Dairnish campaign, the Dwendalians and the Khatanates effectively had a pact together. The Dwendalians, who were a dwarven empire, found Dairn, the new continent, and did not have the manpower to build a new civilization there. So they brought the Khatanate Empire, which is an Azamar-Ran empire that's very hierarchical and very much about slavery, and said, hey, if you bring your slaves over here, we will control them and we'll give you a portion of this new world once we have built it, effectively.
okay.
And
I'll be honest, I've been trying to find Darren on this map this entire time. I'm like, what city are you guys talking about?
Dairn is about a 3.5 to 4 week sail straight west by northwest of the Volusian continent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not actually ridiculously far away, but naval travel is not a very common thing in this world yet. It's very common on the eastern coast, but the boats out there want to kill each other far more than they want to explore.
Good time.
Those that do want to explore never come back. You know how the Pacific Ocean is generally considered a lot more dangerous than the Atlantic?
Yeah.
Think that
Same
but
boat.
swapped on coasts.
Yeah.
Where the East Coast is a far more dangerous and rough ocean, but there's a lot more boats out there, and the Unthrak
West Coast.
Sea, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, the Unthrak Sea is more like the Atlantic. Maybe
Okay.
Maybe not exactly, but it's certainly a shorter trip to get to the nearest continent there than it would be from the Zemnian side.
Alright.
Well, you think that, you'd think that, Volusia would still be tired of war and recovering from wars after the devastation of the Githyanki War, but maybe I'm dating myself.
I think you would be this case, the Githyanki War never really came this far south, at least in its full force. Most of it was kept up north. Lives were lost, but cities were not. Infrastructure was not needed to be rebuilt. It was only lives, and sadly, in these day and age, the lives of the common folk are thought of very lowly and not often.
Maybe we should get someone to campaign on that, huh? Oh, wait.
Democracy isn't really a thing in either the Khatanate or Galadrian empires.
Nope.
What is democracy? Is that
Well, you never know. There might be a governor or two that wants to change something.
Maybe we can ask Gislin.
I always forget that the military structure is a little different than politics.
At this point, her son Vicious brings out a large platter of meats and bread and cheeses. It is quite extensive. It could probably feed 10. And kind of sets it down on the table with another pitcher of ale and then goes back into the kitchen. Helga's going to say, "It's starting to get a little bit later. I have to start putting my children to bed. Is there anything else you will be needing this evening?"
I don't believe so.
I'm sure that we'll let you know.
Exception of, maybe another room if Rikus doesn't want to sleep on the floor.
He just kind of chuckles and goes, "Shit, I mean, I'll go sleep with the horse if you really want me to."
Oh, we've got 4 beds, and I figure since you stole my drink and I paid for the room, I get to say on who goes on the floor.
Incorrect. I have called the floor.
Or your brother can have the floor.
We can share
Why
the floor,
do you
brother.
want the floor? Why do the both of you want the floor? We have 4 beds for a reason.
Yes, and how
What's
is that
wrong with
different?
brothers sleeping on the floor together?
I mean, nothing.
Would you rather I share a bed with you?
No, there's going to be an empty bed.
I guess we have to.
Yeah, I could put all my stuff on it.
Or you could put your stuff on the floor.
Why would I ever put my service pistol on the floor for no reason?
Well, can't you and the service pistol be on the bed? Like, put it under your pillow while you're sleeping?
I've done that before. I almost blew my ear off.
Let's
Let's just say I move around a lot in my sleep sometimes.
I guess we. I don't know, Leopold. We probably can. I guess between you, me, and Wayne, we just determine which one of us gets the second bed. I guess.
Great. Good on you, Lennon, to speak up. We're sharing beds. No. Rikus just laughs. Rikus just laughs it off and says, "It really doesn't matter." Anyways,
I think Jade just made our first copy pasta. Campaign.
Yes, I noticed that.
I am going
Oh,
to read
no.
this out loud for the recording. Yes, the warm silver lakes of Gizlan, a paradise truly flowing with milk and not milk. A place where any man can come and make a fortune. The ultraviolet fluorescent glow of the place can be found in the awestruck eyes in all of its visitors. The stench sticking with them for the rest of their days. With a birth rate of 3,000 per day, it is clear that it is also a place where folks can simply settle down. Finding many simple jobs as seamen in the great lake known as the White Sea. Yes, it is only a lake, but give them a break. So, settle down, relax, wet your hands, and behold, Gizlan.
Hold on, is somebody who travels on the White Sea called a White Seaman?
Yep, 100%.
No. They have their own. They're called the tadpoles.
Oh, tadpoles! Oh, shit.
They're called swimmers.
They're called swimmers. Dear lord.
Swimmers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, it's so fun to write.
The city's special dish is, you know, creamy clam chowder.
No.
Yes.
Okay, so is there anything else you guys would like to do this evening? Anything else you'd like to discuss?
Besides the terrible floor sleeping habits of Ragus and Takir, and the out of character, I don't even know what to call that copy pasta. Leopold is fine.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Anyways,
Alright, so without anyone speaking up, you guys take a rest. Some on the floor, some on beds. What time do you wish to wake in the morning?
actually, I do have one thing.
You already had your chance. Now,
No,
what you want?
fuck.
Is it small? Is it short?
Yeah, it's really short. Hey, yeah. So as she was gathering up all her kids, like, do they all have various colors of hair?
They're mostly smatterings of either like a dirty blonde or black. There is
Okay, so there's not like a. There is a single redhead. Rikus just furrows his brow and looks at Lynn and doesn't say anything. Anyways, it's impossible to have a child with black hair and a ginger.
Listen, Lennon
Genetically.
hasn't figured out genetics yet. He's a medicine man. He's not a geneticist.
I mean, I was gonna say that we might not know genetics, but also maybe a kid's adopted, maybe there's a previous marriage. You don't know.
Maybe it's all the travelers coming through.
Maybe
Yeah,
that could also be the case,
all
but
those
I
people,
don't wanna
all those-
call
All the
our-
travelers
all those
from
tra-
Giz-
all the travelers from
down
Gizzlet,
to-
yeah, I mean-
Yeah,
It's like,
I just don't want to call our hostess an adulterer. So
Regus, if you're
No,
wondering,
she's
no,
not
I do not
adopted.
have children.
What?
Hold up. Can you run that by me again?
If you're Regus, if you're wondering, no, I do not have children. I see that look.
How many kids do you have, Lennon? Tell me. I know you. It's a non-zero number.
Negative
Honestly,
one.
I thought among all of the female professors, at least one.
What are you talking about?
Never mind.
All right. So
I guess it kind of just reminds me of. We'll talk about it another day.
literally just pause. IRL. Just held his breath for 5 seconds. So you guys can all take a long rest.
Rikus ain't really ready to talk about it. So.
And you guys wake up bright and early in the morning. What would you guys like to do? I'm assuming you guys set out towards the giant tracks, but I would like to hear someone say it.
Yes.
we set out towards the giant tracks.
All right. As you guys set out with, do you guys do a similar proceeding? Except take the 2 horses off of the cart and have 4 people riding, and then probably, let's be honest, Lennon riding side seat with someone.
Probably me again.
Yeah, and if they're
We could-
going off road again, it should probably be Rakus.
Are we?
We could probably all just stick together and go follow the tracks at this point.
Yeah.
Given that we were pretty close.
We left the carts there.
Yes, you would leave the cart there.
Wait, there's one thing. I need answers first to make sure this makes sense, though. First, does it seem like a lot of people pass through here?
A fair
This in?
few. I wouldn't say a lot.
Fair few. So not enough that maybe she would get some information that would be valuable to us in the next few days before we were able to find anything?
Before the next few days, definitely very unlikely.
Okay. And we're also... Are we passing back through this inn?
Well,
Well, yeah,
we're
we
gonna
have
have to
to
go
back
get a
to his
cart.
cart. Yeah.
Well-
Right, okay. I was thinking of leaving her a sending stone. Should I keep it?
We do have 6 of them, don't we?
Yeah, I have a bonus.
Fuck's sake.
Or we could keep it and see if there's someone better to give it to.
Yeah, let's just hold on to it for now.
Let's hold on to it. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, because we'd have to come back and get it, and that seems like a pain.
Well,
we have
no,
to
we're
come
gonna
back and get the carts.
Yeah, we are gonna have to come back anyways. But
What if
do
she
we
comes?
really
What if we come back and she's gone because Zach's a jerk, and then we have to wait there for her to come back?
But then we'll just continually ping her with a sending stone, tell her to come back and give us her sending stone back.
She's visiting Jizland, so she's so far away.
She's gonna come back with another kid.
Yep.
She'll have 6
Goes back
now.
with a 20-year-old.
Just comes back with a 20-year-old.
This is my child. Hello, mom.
Hello, mother. Go make me some food. Yes, mother.
Yes, mother.
Alright. So, you guys set out. I would like a survival check. Group survival check, so everybody roll.
Oh, okay.
Watch me fail this roll. Average.
Oh my gosh! It's
Yeah.
literally cursed. It's literally cursed.
Jade physically
Forge is
rolled.
cursed.
Jade
I've never rolled
physically
worse in my life than on
rolled
Forge.
well on Forge.
What are we rolling?
No. A
Oh,
survival.
survivals.
My average roll is well below 10. I'm not
I
joking.
don't know if I'd say well.
I
For
feel like that's like
the
a 9 or an 8.
value on the die. Watch the value on the die, because I don't have bad
Bro.
modifiers. I have a lot of 6s and 8s and 5s.
The lowest I've rolled is an 8, but I'm still getting a 15. Get on my level.
Get on his
I'm just kidding.
level, bro.
Oh, I've rolled a 1. I don't think... Have I had a natural 20? I think I've had one natural 20 in comp.
Yes, you have.
I'm gonna be up.
You have.
Yeah.
You've had one nat 20 at least.
Yeah.
So, as you guys are leading along the way, Wayne and Rikus kind of lead the way, kind of pointing things out. One odd thing you note, the footsteps that you are tracking not only get lighter, but they also get smaller.
You've got it.
As we go, continually.
It's pretty sudden, as the footsteps that you could nearly fit a third of your horse into go almost instantaneously to the size of a very large humanoid, for certain. Like, would be considered a massive man among Goliaths. Probably, you would guess, due to the size of the shoe, 11, 12, 13 feet tall. But still probably about
But
a third.
Different stride?
Much
Stride is shortened too?
much different. Yeah, much shorter.
Cool.
Um,
So if the stride was the same length, then that's a little weird. Just
I'm gonna turn to Wayne and Lennon and all of them and go, well, do you all know of any creatures that can, or sorry, any giants that can shrink in size?
I don't know if giants that could shrink in size, but maybe we're going about this wrong. Maybe it's just temporarily growing in size.
It could just be a polymorph.
I do that sometimes.
Fellow
Ignoring the
grower.
holy man's comments.
Like by height or muscle mass?
Ignoring the holy man's comments.
I'm gonna
there
turn to the
are-
holy man and say, fellow grower, and I put out my fist for a fist bump.
Is this a
I
recur-
can do a fist bump.
Do not
is this a
worry
is this a
about
recurring problem? Do you need medical attention, you two?
only if it lasts longer than 4 hours.
If it lasts longer than 4 hours, please contact me.
Either way. I mean, obviously there's
Contact me
the
for a consultation. First time's free of charge.
there's the enlarge reduce spell that could potentially make someone larger or smaller. The potions that could accomplish the same effect.
It really could be anything.
There's also Duragar. I believe they have the ability to...
Probably be a little less well known. Would you say that I at least know rune knights are a thing that could happen?
Fighters who possess the power of ancient runes that the giants used to use is not necessarily an exceptionally common thing, but it's like, if you're an
Yeah.
adventurer, you've probably heard of a dude who's pretty small and then got really, really big all of a sudden through the power of giants.
Yeah, there's some adventurers who are said to be able to grow due to the runes of giants. If it's a giant creature we're tracking down, then it makes sense that it could use its own power to grow or shrink.
Sounds reasonable.
I wonder, does its weapon also grow and shrink alongside with it?
If it's magical, it would, yes.
Yeah, it might depend on the exact nature of the magic. It's You can do a lot with magic.
Well,
By the way, it's bullet now. Might be easier.
It'd be harder to spot them.
Harder to spot, easier to manage, but you can see its tracks.
Wait, we're not planning on getting in a fight with this thing, are we? I thought we were
Ideally
just supposed
not.
to talk to it.
But we should be prepared for it. No, speaking of being prepared, we should prepare exactly what you're going to say.
I plan on saying nothing,
I mean,
and
what
I'm letting you
Well-
do the talking.
we say?
I'm sure we can figure out what we'll say while we continue tracking this thing. Lycus wasn't lying when he said that this thing has been evasive.
Indeed, but I mean, what are we going to offer to job at the academy? You obviously want some way to keep it out of trouble and keep eyes on it, but
We have another sending stone. We could just give it that? Offer to give it that? To keep in contact with it?
yes. But what if it decides not to return our call?
I mean,
And we could make the sending stone explosive. I don't know.
what?
They're cheap.
I
I don't think any of us really have a way of with words besides our resident preacher here.
If it's a social setting, I believe Leopold has an edge.
why, thank you.
Although, Wayne, I don't know if it'll want to join the church.
What if it did?
It will.
Oops. As
Who knows? You might have a new mount.
as
Only if he breaks the rules.
potentially dangerous as that might be, if the creature was open to religious conversion, that would probably be a very good way he stayed out of trouble.
Yeah.
A minute to talk about our Lord and Savior, Kellamore.
Well, I mean, that's for the preacher to decide.
That depends on how smart this individual is. There's some that, if we were trying to keep him in check with religion, it would only work if they are a non-intelligent individual. And I'm going to start looking more at Rex as I'm saying this. The more intelligent they are, the more they're likely to take over the implications of the religion to wield it over others instead of being underneath it. Look back at everyone else.
I mean, it kind of depends on the religion.
That's a lot of words, Muscle Man. Too bad I didn't understand any of them.
I
could read
like
a book
your
if you want
funny
some
words, Magic Man.
Either way, I think if we're going to make any grounds, we should pick up the pace.
As you guys continue along, what is everyone's passive investigation?
Yeah, mine's actually good.
21.
17.
13.
16.
Surprisingly, not as good. 16.
Okay,
So I
that's
believe
just
it
for,
is
that is future
Wayne.
note.
Myself, Rakus, and then I didn't catch the last two.
Yes, that is for a future note. As you guys continue down into the southeastern section of the Iron Hills, you guys travel for a few hours before you really see anything of note. The sun has well and far beyond crested, and dawn is left in its dust. You guys find a valley that continues deep in. There are no hills in this area. It seems like a flat plain, almost like there's miles where it just dips down into this lower layer and continues on and out. And in it, there's some trees. They're not everywhere. They are few and far between, but there are trees. there's a small like creek that runs through most of this area with small ponds on either end. But can I get everyone to roll me a perception check real quick?
Perception check.
Yes.
+3.
I don't see so
God
good.
damn, Sakir.
Jeez.
Get on my level.
Hey, I'm in the middle.
Hey.
I look better by comparison, so thank you, Leonard and Zakir, for making my roll not dog shit.
You're welcome.
I don't know
Wayne
what
and
to
I out
expect.
here like,
Rikus and Wayne just kind of carrying the skill check game. You guys both notice
gang.
maybe about a little under a mile, down into this valley. Like I said, you guys have been traveling for a couple hours at this point. It's probably 10 or so in the morning at this point. As you guys look down into this valley, deep down past the creek bed, off to the side in a flat area where there are no trees, you guys actually see what seems to be the final wisps of a fire just floating out from this area. You can't actually see where it originates from. It's a little bit far for your eyes, but you can tell that there's smoke rising from that area, very faintly.
Does it look like? You said it looks like the tail end of a fire. Like it's not really actively going. It's kind of just the last little bit of smolder.
It looks like the final smolders are smoking, yes.
Backs are heading in that direction.
Okay. As you guys begin heading in this direction, would you like to dismount and approach on foot, or ride your horses all the way up?
I will be riding all the way up.
You said it's still like 10 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, it is mid-morning at this point.
I reckon they've moved on, and that was probably last night's fire that they left when they left this morning. What would you say?
I'd want to get a closer examination to confirm, but not a bad hypothesis to start.
Probably stay on the horses up to it then.
Another thing I'll note, as you guys approach this valley, you have completely lost any sense of the tracks you were following earlier.
One question, DM. So you mentioned that there were some trees in the valley.
Yes.
As like on our course to the fire, is there any like big thicket big enough that people could hide in if they wanted to ambush us?
There are some lone trees that are fairly large, but nothing that you would say would constitute any more than a few people hiding behind a tree. And
Okay.
the trees are fairly well spaced apart, that it would be difficult to coordinate something due to
I'm
just the
gonna
distance.
say, fingers crossed, knock on wood, no ambush.
From where we're standing, or from where we are right now, how far is it between, like, I guess the entrance to the valley and then this thicket we're heading, or this
You
these
guys
woods?
are like at the top of the hill that descends down into this valley.
Uh-huh. Huh.
Huh? Nothing more forth than to get riding then.
True. Up. Jeez. Yeah, I'll stay on the horse for now.
I'm gonna just ride my horse right up to it.
All right.
We won't come in fast. We'll kind of, because we were,
Just
yeah,
to
we'll kind of trot in.
Okay.
Don't want to look hostile.
Apologies.
Felt.
So, as you guys trot in and kind of pull your horses up short, you guys find yourself in this flat area, and you actually, as you get closer, can tell that there is some form of large white tent in the corner. Not necessarily in the corner, but there's like a dry patch of ground where the grass has been completely killed off. And there is a tent placed on top of this area that is very large and very torn up.
And very torn up.
And very torn up. Very torn up.
As in, like, it's been there a while, or as in, like, combat torn up?
You can't tell from this distance. It would take a much closer eye and probably some investigation. But from this distance, there are active tears. It's flapping and rippling in the slight wind that is able to come down into this valley.
Does it seem like anyone's there?
As
we can tell.
As you guys approach, there is what appears to be a very large creature sitting just in front of the fire. And you guys are surprised you didn't notice it earlier. Almost as if the armor that it wears kind of removes it from the eyesight of those at a long distance. In glimmering, shining plate armor, you see a creature of gargantuan sizes, as probably standing somewhere around 40 feet tall while standing. He is sitting beside the fire right now, and you see there's, just on the other side of the fire, a pile of bones set around the flame just down the ways. And it looks to be, from what you can tell, some kind of pack of wild creature. They seem a little bit... they're much larger than, like, a coyote. They look even larger than a wolf. You can't quite tell exactly what they are.
And these are bones, or there's creatures at the pile of bones?
It's just bones. Just bones.
So there's one dude sitting at the fire?
There is the giant sitting at the fire, and he is finishing a meal of whatever these creatures were.
Okay.
As he seems to be picking these, in comparison, small bones from his teeth and throwing them off into the pile.
Does it seem like he's noticed us riding up?
He does not seem disturbed by you riding up, but you, due to the fact that you were on horse, it's not necessarily easy to hide the clop of horse hooves, especially when you are on such dry and flat ground as you are.
Yeah, that's fair.
You would assume he's heard you at this point.
May as well introduce ourselves.
Hello there, traveler.
How close do you guys ride horses up?
Say, probably,
15, 20 feet?
I was going to say 15, 20 yards.
Yeah, I was gonna say we want to be like a respectful distance away.
So if you
I don't own a
15,
token.
20 feet is almost certainly within that guy's melee range.
Well, it seems as
Like,
something.
you imagine you're on a football field. You can easily talk to someone 15 to 20 yards.
Alright, yeah, that's fair.
So I am going to try and find a mini that fits real quick. You guys should be on a new screen now.
I see a black screen.
I also see a black screen.
Black screen. That is gay.
Mine is white.
No, it's black.
Yeah, just turn
Now
off
we see
token
it.
vision.
I can see now.
That's a gross tent.
I want to fix the tent. Linen has mending for various reasons.
I also have mending, so I could try.
I just had a disturbing thought with the mending spell, but I'll say it outside of recording.
All right. So as he sits there, are you guys able to pull your own
Use
tokens
it
out?
such beams.
Um,
No.
I think the
Negative.
answer is no.
I
Wait,
don't know
no.
why. I'm pulling your characters out right now.
Okay.
So as you guys approach, place your tokens where you want. Probably
See.
not right on top of him, Lennon.
Yeah, no, I'm just measuring because Rekas said 20 to 30 yards, so that's like 90 feet, 60 feet or so.
well,
So
20
about
yards
here,
is about 65. So we'll be like somewhere in here.
yeah, about here-ish.
All right.
Is the Giants token on the map?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
He's sitting by the giant pile of bones next to the campfire.
I can't see him.
Neither.
I can.
I know, but like I can't.
I don't see.
If
See
I
a
hover
rock.
over it, I see the highlight of tokens, but not.
This is weird. His glimmering armor must still be working on you.
I was gonna say, I don't know why you can't see him. He is right here, and it seems others can.
I need to move closer.
He's a rock.
Yeah, it's just a rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally just a rock.
Can anybody, you guys, Aiden, you can
I can see the rock you're talking about, but I can see him. He's got like red hair and a big sword.
Yeah, this guy.
Why can he?
Yeah.
Why can two players?
That's where the ginger
This
kid
guy.
came from.
Why,
It was him.
why can some of you guys see him and the rest not? What?
We're built different.
Built different.
Sure.
Just built like that.
I'm clearly different in terms of composition.
All right. Well, that shouldn't matter for this session, at least. So, as you guys approach, who speaks?
Not I.
Lennon already did.
Lennon, what did you say?
Hello there, traveler.
As you say that, you see him look over to you, and this just gleaming, beautiful set of plate armor. It's like light gray with streams of white and purple placed amongst it. And this giant great sword along his back that you note could reach enemies from a very long distance. And as he kind of turns over to you, you see his helmet set at his feet. As he kind of looks over to you, kind of sizes you up for a moment. Why do you disturb me?
Well, there was some pretty. There was we saw some pretty giant footprints, and it looked interesting enough to follow.
I have been told
Rikus,
I am quite large for this realm. This confuses me. Would you like something to eat?
It's about. You said it's about 10 a.m. right now.
It is about 10 a.m. right now.
I don't know. I could go for a mid-morning snack. What about you, Rackets?
sounds wonderful. Do you mind if we approach the fire?
You are welcome, weary travelers.
Cool.
There is left a wolf. At least I believe it to be a wolf. I am not certain. They were quite large.
Normally, wolves aren't this big, but who knows? There's been many odd things happening lately.
May I examine the wolves?
You can examine the bones. There is the slightly overcooked body of a wolf that is barely been dug into. You would guess that there were probably 6 or 7 that have already been eaten by this man.
And they are wolves. Okay.
Yeah.
I like dire wolves or
You
anything.
would probably guess that they're dire wolves. Just
They are in
considering
fact
the
dire
size.
wolves.
I guess if
You
we're
would
sharing,
also know a pack of 6 to 8 dire wolves is a deadly encounter. Especially on the road when they set upon you without your knowledge and without any preparation. You would guess that they attacked him at night. Hence why his tent is so torn up.
And he just said, "Nah, fam, your dinner now."
I'm also
There is not a
breakfast.
single scratch
Yes.
on his armor.
he's good.
I will speak up to the giant. I can't help but notice your tent is in a bit of a state of disrepair. Would you like any help with that?
I need no tent. It was a gift, but seemingly squandered by the wild beasts of this land.
It shouldn't be a problem. It doesn't seem to be a problem to fix up. We do have access to some mending spells. Leopold, you said you had one?
Correct. I'm sure the two of us working on it together could...
Yeah.
10 minutes, perhaps?
I will
Depends on the
not-
size of the tears.
I will not beg the assistance. If you wish to provide it, though, I will not resist.
I mean, you let us sit down near next to your fire. It's the least we can do.
And, you've offered us food. Consider it showing gratitude.
Rikus, as they kind of walk off and start working on the tent, will move a bit closer and he'll speak up. You say you're not from this realm. From where do you hail?
He looks at you and says, I believe anything truly tracking me, in this case, would have some form of idea.
Well, cat's out of the bag. Yes, we were.
What does that mean? I have never heard of a cat.
Oh, I know this one.
Think of it.
I know this one. Generally, stops mending, brings out a book. It generally means that
Rikus is like waving off Lennon, like stop. It is simply a colloquial phrase. A cat is just a small, well, comparatively to our size, small creature.
It generally means a secret has been uncovered or revealed.
And
you meant
speaking
the
of speaking of secrets uncovered or revealed, I don't want to snoop, but is there anything obviously interesting that is noticed inside of the giant's tent?
As you peer over to the tent, it is completely empty outside of what appears to be some kind of large bedroll.
Understandable.
Yes. So now that you understand the phrase "cat's out of the bag," we have been sent to track the whereabouts of a giant moving, or a large creature moving through here, not from this plane.
We didn't really expect to find anything, though, which kind of surprising that, we did find you.
I assume it was not hard for you. I am not a small creature.
Our survival checks say otherwise.
No, but it certainly took some time to track you down. You can move quite far.
The glories of a long stride. Why have you come before me?
We've dealt with quite a number of others that have. Zach, what's the name of the
It was
fucking
Carceria, wasn't it?
Carcer? Yeah. We've dealt and interacted with quite a number of others from Carceri. And we work with an organization that intercepts them. To okay, I'm like as a player I'm buffering. Okay,
Ensure that they
sorry.
won't cause any harm
Yeah.
around here.
Investigate.
Yeah, we're just investigating and intercepting them as they travel through these planes.
Ensuring that they don't cause any harm.
Yeah, ensuring that they don't cause any harm and they don't mean no harm. They don't mean any harm.
Honestly, the second one that we actually managed to talk to. The others just tried to kill us.
Third?
And tell
Third?
me, small creatures, how do you intend on dealing with me?
Well, the professor kind of just asked us to look into you to see what your deal was. So aside from that,
our intentions are, well, as they are now. Peaceful, and having a conversation around a fire does just fine.
He looks up and says, "It is sad you did not find me amongst the stars last night. It would have been much better for this conversation. Talks beneath the moon always bring more fruit to the table. Would you not agree?"
Rikus kind of looks over towards Sakir for a long moment and says, as a creature born in darkness, I would prefer it no other way.
is this a setup to a romance? Now he'll will whisper to Leopold. Is this a setup to a romance plot?
I don't know. I don't know if that would be beneficial for us if it was or not.
He speaks out again. "I have caused no harm to the people of this land, and have merely traveled through it trying to find a place for myself. There is no need for this visit."
What sort of
That
place
is good to hear.
for?
What?
Huh?
What sort of place you're looking for?
One where the stars always shine, and my lord of the sky ever gleams upon me.
How tall?
I do not believe that exists in this plane, sadly.
Do you wish to go to another?
I do not
Are you
believe-
content here?
He hasn't been here very long, Sakir.
I
If he
do
isn't
not
content, we can show him
believe
around.
That contentment will be found by me ever again, sadly. But it is my intention to try. I have been
What?
warring for many years.
As we can see, from your stature, you carry the posture of a great warrior.
Well, if you do wish to attempt to find this lord of yours, we're friends with quite many scholars. If there's anyone who may be able to find him, we could likely help with that.
My lord
Yes.
appears in every evening falls away at the dawn. You
Like the
cannot
moon?
find him. It is easy enough to find.
Like the moon?
If that is what you call it in this time, and from your culture, then yes.
What do you call it?
We call him Galadros.
Religion check.
Go ahead. You're gonna have to
Woo!
you are going to have to roll an nat 20 to get even the slightest line from me.
Okay.
Linen's
Come on,
okay at
Forge.
religion.
You're a jerk
Let's go,
to me.
let's go, let's
You're
go, let's
jerking me
go.
consistently. I will take back
We gotta do it,
everything.
we gotta do it, we gotta
I'll
do
take
it, we
back
gotta do it.
everything.
Oh, shit!
I got so fucking close.
Come on. Fuck!
I mean, I got a 5% chance. I may as well.
Hey, can you think?
Come on,
you
Cullimore.
think- Come on,
Come on,
priest.
come
sorry,
on,
preacher.
priest.
Alright,
Damn.
alright.
Womp womp.
Preacher.
Come on.
Oh, shit!
Let's go.
I'm religious, baby!
Of course he would know. He's the preacher.
Of course the preacher knows. Okay, so Galadros. That is a very, very old name. A name that you actually makes a little bit of sense for you to know, just a little bit more than anybody else here. As at
The
least
rolls
for
are
the
so
name
perfect.
Galadros is a actual city of the astral sea that is named after a deity of the prime material plane. However, that goes back thousands upon thousands of years. Galadros, in today's world, is more known as the city under the control of the astral elves in the astral sea. It is more known as the city rather than the ancient deity, as there are ancient knowledge of peoples who lived on Galadros, or the moon, as it was called long, long, long ago. Whether they be giant or normal sized, there were myths and legends of both. But creatures living on the moon has always been a thought of fantasy in the minds of historians. However, with you looking at him now and seeing his grayish complexion and the armor, this does look otherworldly from this place.
As the our scholar of the party had previously mentioned, or was it Leopold? No, it was Leopold. Yeah, as Leopold here had previously mentioned, the organization we work for is called the Academy of Dusk. It is a massive network of scholars and many others, and if you so wish, you can travel with us, and the head of the organization can assist you with anything you need, whether it be becoming more familiarized with this land or finding ways to travel where you want to go.
At the very least, we could at least give you, a sending stone for amicable contacts, if you ever need someone to talk to.
I have already received an invitation from another. Why should I accept yours over theirs?
We were informed that there were a couple other organizations that seek out those of Carceri similarly.
Well, who extended to you this offer, and what exactly did they offer? We need to know if we're to properly formulate a response.
A Goliath man by the name of Kerk Longsteel.
Possibly the leader of the bands of Goliaths running around here.
Oh, the horde, the rigid horde.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I highly doubt war running around the Iron Hills would have a chance of sending you back to where you came from. Before Gasseri, that is. I'm not going to claim for certainty that we can, but I'm saying there's a chance.
Who necessarily said I wished to return?
True. And that is
True.
besides the point. Listen to what we have said. Right? What did the hordes want? The hordes want nothing more to kill and destroy and to conquer. And if that is what you stand for, then maybe we should have a conversation about that. But what you've heard us say, the points that we have made, the things that are important to us are your well-being and the well-being of the lands around you. If you stand for that, if that is where your morals lie, then you can rely on our help much more than these others.
I must forgive you for your aggressive speech and tone, little one. I have been in war and at war for longer than likely your race's existence. It is all I have known for a long time, and it is difficult not to to accept an offer for its continuation, as it is what I know.
What about waging war against others that have escaped us?
Carceri?
Kasseri. As you're well aware, there were many factions with great deals of power that, well, as you're also very aware, would cause quite the devastation to this land.
Wait,
Part of why our organization exists is to quell those.
wait, before
Imagine having you as a blade by our side.
before talking about fighting or anything, what war and why were you at Karseri in the first place?
I was in Carceri as I denied the Wizards of Avalar their conquering of my land, and they took it by force and put me in their prison. I was an admiral of Chandrius Carabal, a great psionic beast of Carceri that ruled the 47th block.
Shit, what? Okay, hold on. Out of character. The 47th block, is that the one ruled by Gentamoron that no, that's not
No.
Gentamoron.
He just
No.
named the one who...
No. Sorry. The reason I bring up Gentamoron is because I think Varys mentioned another block number, but I can't remember the number right now. And Gentamoron is the thing I remembered from Varys's
I'm trying
little
to remember
spiel.
what block Gentamoron was actually from.
While you're looking that up, I just realized that we never asked this giant his name.
Yeah.
Would you like to in
Is the
character?
Ah, so tell me then,
Insight.
what is the name of such a great admiral and defender of his people?
Sadly, they were not my people, but my name is Gendo Manarath.
Oh boy.
Well then, Gendo. What say you about my comrade's offer? I imagine by this point the mending on the tent is probably done.
I would assume the mending on the tent is fairly well done.
Rikus says, well, Leopold, he gave us his name. And he kind of gestures at Leopold, like,
Well, my name is Leopold Lenotdown, and we are the Inexorables. What say you to joining our cause?
these are, and then Rikus will speak up and say, I am Rikus, that is Secure, my brother, and we have Linen and Wayne as well.
Hello.
A nod.
He says, "You bring words and morality before me, ethics and ideas. The Horde has brought gifts. Why should I accept yours over theirs? I am a creature of a different land and a different place. While I do not necessarily wish to rampage and destroy, the Horde offers me their command. They would be under my control.
Well, we
What gifts have they brought you beside command?
They have brought me the ability to start fires for myself. They have brought me that tent. They have brought me nearly every meal I have eaten since I arrived here, except for the one that I made myself this morning. They may not be the kindest or the most amiable of the peoples of this land, but they have done right by me.
well, off the
And
top,
no, I'll let you go.
off the top of my head, we have as much knowledge as the Azure libraries have, and I guess the ability to help navigate potentially sticky political.
There.
It was as far as what we can give him.
Okay.
The Academy of Dusk and our organization, the Inexorables, the options are almost limitless when it comes to their power and what they can give and what they can offer. Obviously, they can offer knowledge with the scholars. They can offer a roof over your head, and food and stability in that sense. But we can also offer you
A roof.
a cause.
Greatest
You
disrespect you could give me.
a what?
A roof would be the greatest disrespect one could offer me.
Oh yes.
Why?
Perhaps we could
We can
also
give you
flying-
a pavilion, in which you can stay, and with no roof or anything, but protection around you, so you would never have to be wary of these dire wolves attacking you in the night.
He lets out a bellowing laugh. I have no need of your protection, small one.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that we would protect you.
More so that your sleep wouldn't be disturbed.
Yes.
We could
However,
also
however, what I am more interested in is of what we could offer you is participation in battles yet to come against those factions pouring from Carceri that would have ill intentions and could cause great devastation in our lands. And there's another note. It's not exactly what we could offer you, but more what you could offer us. You spoke that you were an admiral back in your time. You must have immense strategic brilliance. As one who's served in the military myself, that is invaluable. As far as commanding, you can command the strategic coordination of our entire organization, effectively pointing us in any direction that would give us the upper hand against any of these factions that may, in all honesty, completely level some of these countries.
Why? Why would I seek a purpose protecting your lands? I am,
Well-
as I have said, old. I have participated much in war, as it is all I know. However, your lands, while beautiful, mean nothing to me. It matters
And
not
where are your
whether it
lands?
is north or south. My lands are long gone, little one.
So
Sit
what land
here.
lies under your feet?
It is not under my ownership.
Yes,
Give
but
me a
you are
time.
standing on it, and as far as for the time being you're traveling here, if these lands were to be destroyed, well, you wouldn't really have much of a place to travel anymore.
Why should I
Yes.
not then take what I can from these lands and move along, as the Horde would have me do?
How long could you move along for?
Yes, how long could you move along for?
Before either the same forces that quash this stop you, or you move along to somewhere that has somebody that could defeat you.
You know very
You are quite
well.
strong, but I'm sure there is at least some out there.
I am sure you know better than anyone what other beings resided in Carceri. You would know better than any one of us here that if you chose not to seek it out, it would eventually seek out you. Even being as old as you are, millennia beyond anything we could imagine, how long before the other forces of Carceri catch up?
In the end, it's all about kind of a sense of, your sense of give and take. It's a even I may not be exactly working for my specific homeland, but there are aspects that I can give to, the place I am now, and aspects I can take from them to further my own goals. So for the options before you, there's things that the the rigid hordes are able to provide you, and then there are things that we can. And in the end, all we ask is kind of just to kind of keep in the end, we just want to be able to keep in contact. There's like we'd love it if you'd come with us, but if if you as long as you take a sending stone, we have no complaint on and at least answer a question or two that might occasionally come in from Professor Lycus. That's all. That's the least of our desires.
As Lennon says this and ends, he kind of takes a pause and he says, "It is not in my belief to let one side argue while the other is not there. Strength and honor are tenets that my people have, or used to live upon. You will if you wish to continue, return at dusk before the setting of the sun, and I will hear both your qualms and offerings, and the qualms and offerings of the representative of the Rigid Horde.
At that, Sakir's gonna go ahead, reach into his coat, take out the extra sending stone. He says, "Then, if you are a man of honor, no matter what your decision is, we will respect it, but we will act accordingly. And we have nothing else to offer but our aid in that decision. And if you choose to accept our side, aid in any way that stands on your honor and on our strength." And I hand him the sending stone.
As you hand that out, just holding it out to him, he stands, but as he does, he shrinks. In an awkward form that as he stands, what should stand as a 45-foot tall giant, stands a just over 10-foot tall man who reaches down towards you and takes the stone and looks at it in his hand and seemingly slides it into a nook of his armor. And as you guys are all much closer, I would say Leopold, and probably Linen in this case. You two would know this more than others. One, Linen, because you've studied, and two, because Leopold's rich. The rest of you would not recognize this as easily. Both his blade and armor is made of mithril. And as you see it gleam in the sun, he says, "Inexorables, I bid you adieu until this evening. Bring both your wits and your arms."
Alright.
Understood.
As we
Have
conclude this, I would like you guys all to roll a persuasion check for the conversation that was just had.
Have a good day, Mr. Have a good day, Mr. Manorath. If you have any medical, if you have any medical
And you
problems,
roll at a negative
contact me.
Roll at
Do I
disadvantage.
get advantage since I knew his god?
How about this? I'll give you a +2 to your roll.
Alright.
If you have any
Hold on, I
issues,
gotta roll mine
if you have any
too.
medical issues, please
Fuck yeah.
send a message over the stone. I might be able
Hey,
to
guys.
help.
Alright, Sakir.
I just want it over a 10. Like, anything over a 10 would be great.
No!
I got a 10! I got a 10!
Any...
You got an 11.
To be fair, you said anything over, so
I
it is
rolled a
over.
10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it. I'm so
I
happy.
love being
Right on
persuasive.
18, and then it's
I love being
So that's
persuasive.
30,
God.
45, 45, 61, 62, 82 out of 5. So we're looking at an approximate 16 to our combined persuasion check. We are going to leave this up, as when we return, we will be returning at dusk. You guys are welcome to start the next session with any discussions or preparations, which you were told to bring your wits and your arms, encouraging that there may be some form of altercation.
Yo, we need a contact. The
Also,
professor.
yeah, I was gonna say we should contact the professor and get like very concrete. We can offer you X, Y, and Z.
We can offer you a pension. We can offer you...
The 401k.
We got a full
I can offer you
401k.
5% for $20,000 on Turk
Does
Tech.
does
It
anybody
sounds like
have,
he wants to make a land to call his own.
Does-
I propose we give him one of the flying islands from the park.
So just try to imagine with me. So we're going to go ahead and end the recording here real quick. Bye-bye.